Talking. Yeah. Okay, I think people can hear us now, right? Welcome to AI Agents Hour. Wow, we fucked that up already from the beginning. EU edition. We are in where, Marvin?
Strasbourg, which is a French city at the frontier of Germany. You may know this one because of we have very huge Christmas market. So if you come in the winter, you can have a lot of fun here.
Yeah. So today we have pretty much as we always do. We have AI news. We have a friend from CopilotKit. And you're going to meet some Mastras, and we're going to build something. We'll do some automations that we actually need for our own open source project. So without further ado, let's get into the news. Let me get my coffee real quick. This says, call me madame. How French is that?
Yeah, I have the other one, but yeah.
Call me monsieur. All right, let's get into some news. And then also, we have some friends coming. So let me also invite or get ready to invite them. So give me a sec here. So here's one. I'll do that. And then Paul wanted to come on too. So we'll get him in here. And yeah, so now we can start. So all 29 of you, welcome. Thanks for being here. We do answer stuff on chat, and we have this cool microphone today, so that's dope. Hopefully, and the quality is a lot better than our last one. So yeah, thanks. Also, Marvin got his Mastras shirt. Why don't you peep the Mastras shirt? I guess we're like inverted, but that's fine.
Super nice. It's a great one.
Yeah, it's the best swag you'll ever want, I guess. But first, let's get into the news. So, share my screen. And the first thing I want to talk about, which is just some wild stuff that happened, is Gersley Oros tweeted about the Mastras book. Sam, as everyone may not know, my co-founder, our CEO, Sam Bugwat, wrote a book during YC, and YC is Y Combinator, if y'all don't know. And we wrote a chapter, and I say we, I didn't do shit, honestly. I didn't really do anything. I was just there. But it was kind of cool. We were all inspiring the book as we were there in Y Combinator. We wrote like a chapter a week, and I think I mentioned on Friday's stream that Sam met Satya Nadella, and he also, and then Sam was active, dude. He was meeting people, which is great. And we got this tweet from Gersley. I forgive me if I'm saying his name wrong, but this guy is popping on Twitter, which is great. But yeah, let's look at this tweet. Like, got this book when I met Sam, formerly co-founder of Gatsby. Marvin used to work at Gatsby too. So did I. And now we are Mastras AI. Yep, that's us. It's a short, sweet, and practical intro into building AI agents, and it's free to download. And as you can see, we have these chapters. It's very approachable. You can go to mastras.ai/book. I can type it in here. If anyone wants to download it, please be my guest. We would love that. Actually, also, let me double check if that's the link too. You never know these days. Indeed it is. And there you can like sign up and we'll send you the book. We are also, this is some news for those who have the book or want the book. There's a V2 of the book. And like people thought we weren't going to keep this shit up to date. But as you can tell, it's very core to introing people to AI, also introing them to Mastras. So we have a V2 coming, and it's going to be on Amazon. And then there's a lot of typos in the first version because we were hustling for the demo day at YC to push this book out. But now we have more time, and it's going to be way better. And we're going to continue making it. So V2 on its way. So that's awesome. So next piece of news. Let's do. Typically in live streams, you say like, this is how you pay the bills. You have to do something. But as y'all know or may not know, the Greptile energy drink is the sponsor of this show, AI Agents Hour. And when I went to Japan, they asked me, what AI tools do I use? Like, do we use at our company? And we said, I was like, Greptile's the shit, is essentially what I said. And all these Japanese people, thank you, Japanese people, for like tweeting at Greptile and they discovered the product, which is so cool. So to fulfill the overlords of our energy drink sponsorship, I thought, why don't we go through this blog post here? It is a great blog post. It just so happens that it's written by Greptile, and so this is really interesting. Is Claude Sonnet 4.0 better than 3.7 and for catching bugs, right? And if you guys don't know what Greptile is, I would use it. They are like an AI PR review bot, and you can do knowledge base on your code. You can interact with it. It's pretty cool. What do you think about Greptile?
Yeah, and to be honest, I was a bit skeptical about. I'm a bit skeptical in general about AI generating code. So I'm always reviewing everything that I type in Cloud or whatever in Cursor, Windsurf, and all. But this thing for reviews, it's amazing. It catches so many small things, like sometimes you just forget a typo or something like that, or sometimes you forget a written statement or an else case that you forgot. It just catches it, and hey, you should probably give the user a message here. So
yeah,
that's pretty nice for me.
Another cool thing it does is it adds PR summaries on your PRs.
Yeah.
And now you don't have to really like communicate what the change is about. You can automatically do that. Many people are not good at speaking English, or maybe they're not good at expressing themselves versus the code. Greptile will just maybe English is your second language. So it really helps. So let's go through this. So yeah, we talked about this on Friday that 4.0 had dropped, right? And we saw the SWE benchmark test. We went through it. We all were very skeptical, me and Ward especially, that is this really that much better? Over the weekend, though, it's a resounding yes that 4.0 is better. So that's cool. So how did Greptile kind of figure this out? So they have a big data set that has different languages, and they generated code, right? Like just a bunch of different code. And what's really cool is when you design things like this, it's hard to design bugs, right? Because like, how do you design a bug? Like, it's fucking hard, right? You just make bugs happen, or bugs are when you don't think things through. Maybe my friend Corbin tweeted about that. Bugs are just things you didn't think fully through. So how do you design a bug? You're essentially designing flaws, which is just interesting in general. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
And so they made all these, these different eval data sets, and essentially that's how you're supposed to do testing like this. They're all doing it the right way, especially if you're going to put your AI agent through model changes and stuff. Like, what tests are you actually running? You need to have eval data sets or evals in general. So if you're not writing any evals right now, you should look at. If you don't trust us, at least Greptile can show you right here. And so here's a disclaimer. These are the bugs that are the hardest to catch bugs we could think of, and are not representative of the median bugs usually found in everyday software. I truly like this. When people do these type of benchmarks and stuff, most of them are flawed, right? And even this one's flawed because it's the hardest thing that they could think of. So there's still human reasoning in here. So let's see what the results are. Oh, despite expectations, Claude 4.0 did not outperform 3.7 in our bug detection benchmark. Both models caught roughly 14% of injected bugs, with only minor variations across programming languages. That was my first thought too. Like, are some programming languages easier to debug than others, right? The result was surprising. Sonnet is built on a newer architecture, yet its detection ability remained on par with 3.7. This kind of is opposite of the sentiment that people are talking about online. And maybe that comes down to just the non-determinism of the whole situation, right? But let's look at these results.
Yeah. I was expecting Go to be at the top, but it's not even the best one.
Dang, dude, it's kind of shit. So like 3.7 was better at Python, which is interesting. TypeScript was the same, which is interesting. Rust is the same. Ruby a little bit better in 3.7. I mean, you have to take these numbers at face value. Like, I think there's definitely some more research that needs to happen. But it's just interesting that
Python 1 is
this is interesting.
Yeah.
So let's see what there's a correct versus alternative issue. So they have like test 19, the encryption toolkit. So 3.7 accurately pinpointed that like this round robin strategy was not returning the right of partitions. I don't want to get into round robin architectures, but you should read about it if you don't know. And then 4.0 didn't even look at that and looked at like some schema validator method, which would cause a bug. It's a legitimate error, but it's not the most important thing, you know. And we got a comment from Shravan. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I am Indian. I should be able to say these types of things, but just kidding. Shravan said, let me post what he said. The official benchmark scores weren't great either. I couldn't understand what the hype was about. Dude, me too, man. Me too. Like on Friday, and I still don't understand what the hype is about. That's because like you choosing a model is like choosing a Pokemon, you know? Like everyone likes Squirtle or Charmander, like, and everyone has different playing experiences with them. I truly believe that. You know, for example, even with Greptile here, different people on our team have different experience with Greptile. Like I have a great experience with Greptile. Marvin does too. But Tony hates fucking Greptile because like for his PRs, they're never like good comments, you know? That's interesting too. That's just interesting. I have nothing else to say about it other than it's interesting. Okay, let's get back into this, and then we'll go on. We have some guests here. I don't want to keep them waiting too long. We are going to be talking with my homie Markus from CopilotKit. It's going to be sick, but we have a couple more articles we have to do, so we'll get there. Everyone have some patience. Optimistic outlook for Sonnet 4.0. They think, you know, it hasn't outpaced the predecessor. I didn't even like 3.7 though. You know what I mean? So I'm still like, but yeah, like that's pretty much this. I would use Greptile, give it a try. They're cool. I don't have a Greptile energy drink with me, but when I'm in SF, you'll always see that. I'll be drinking it. But, you know, you get the call me madame today. All right, on to the next one. Let's get that. Oh, so there's 115 people here. Thank you so much for being here. We are two dudes from Mastras. This is AI Agents Hour. If you're just getting here, we're going through AI news like we always do. And you haven't missed much of the show yet. We're also getting better at live streaming. Apparently, every so often, you're supposed to do a recap of like what all the show has been about, which I am terrible at. Shane is very good at it. So on Friday, if you guys saw the live stream there, you saw this bumbling and fumbling. But today, I think we'll be a little bit better. Maybe because we're in France, you know. I think that's probably the reason, you know. Okay, on to the next one. This next one might trigger some people, which maybe is a good thing. It triggers me, so let's do that. So our friends over at WorkOS wrote a blog post, MCP, ACP, A2A, oh my. Oh my is right, dude. Because what is ACP? What is this ACP shit? Where did that come from? There's another one. Okay, when we were working at Gatsby, like when we were doing all this stuff, 3-letter acronyms are the way of the world, right? We had SSR, DSG, what else? ISR,
CSR, SSR, SSG.
Oh my god.
Then ISR,
DPR, distributed persistent rendering. SSR, server side rendering. SSG, static site generator.
Yeah.
So okay, so we're accustomed to these 3-letter things. Except you should know what the 3 letters are. Like I don't know what ACP is. We're about to find out. Dude, I think that's a problem. We probably should be knowing. You know, that's like good thing we do this show because like we get to learn stuff too.
We just got things.
MCP, ACP, A2A, oh my. Did they Ghibli this kind of? That's cool.
Looks like the one that Shane is doing for the stories, like the same style.
Okay, let's. I want to break this like picture down. You got the cowardly lion, who context is king. I don't know who Ron is. You guys see this word Ron here? I don't know. And piss, I guess. and databases. Okay, so this is this guy, but which one is he? Is he MCP? I don't know. Then you got the scaredy, or is it the scarecrow who wants a brain, right? Which I guess he's thinking about
probably the ACP.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. And they got Dorothy with cars. Okay, and then the Toto and the LLM runtime bag. This picture doesn't make sense, is what I'm getting at. Okay, let's continue. But it's cute, though. I'll give you that. It's very cute. All right, the era of agents is here, and with it, new protocols are emerging to power their interactions. All right, you may have encountered 3 recently: MCP, Agent Communication Protocol (ACP), which I have not heard of personally, and then agent to agent, which is A to A, which we have heard of. Mastras does have MCP support, A to A support, but it's not very we're making the A to A support better. And I'm sure we have to do this ACP thing too. So I guess, we signed up for that shit. Let's explore the 3 protocols. Ooh, we get to learn now. Okay. MCP, primary focus, tools. Yep, makes sense. ACP, it's from IBM. I did read about this. Commuting across BAI agents in a local first setting. Okay. Dude, what is BAI? Hey, chat, please tell me. Look it up for me. What is BAI? And I'll highlight your message just so you can be more interactive here, because kind of sounds like it's like a dumb name probably, but it's IBM shit. Oh my god! If you go to bai.dev, there's no CSS on the page.
I mean, it was broken.
Oh, it was broken. Never mind. Sorry. I just wanted to talk shit about them. Let me. Here, I'll share BAI so we can all see it. Ooh. Also, because this is a really interesting topic, I'm going to bring Markus in a little bit earlier so he can kind of talk shit about all this stuff with us. So actually, let's get Markus in here. Markus, welcome to the show.
Hello, Markus.
Hey guys.
How's it going, dude?
Hey. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thanks for having me.
1 second. Can you try again?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Hey. Thanks for inviting me here.
Yeah. Hopefully you weren't bored just waiting out on the waiting room. Where are you calling from?
So I'm here in Vienna, in a shared office space. I'm here with my colleague Ran. He came to visit from the Netherlands to work with me for a week, and so I'm next to the UN in Vienna, in a nice place.
Hey, we're getting international on this live stream these days, dude. That's crazy. Have you heard of BAI?
Actually, I did. It's a funny story, but as you know, we also did a protocol called AGUI, and we first wanted to call it ACP. And that's how we stumbled upon BAI. And that's why we didn't call it that. So,
so BAI, open source platform to discover, run, and compose AI agents from any framework. Interesting. Let's look at this GIF. Okay. They have an agent catalog. Okay, I can kind of vibe with this. Different Python frameworks. They have their own framework. Maybe Mastras will be on this thing too, I guess.
I think it's also related to agent communication, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, so I think this is once again, it's like that XKCD cartoon where there's 11 competing protocols, so then let's make a 12th one, and then now you have 12 of them or whatever. So I'm curious where this will go. Let's head back to the actual. Let me head back to the other thing, and we can do a further deep dive into BAI another time. But let's get back to the other where we were at here. So I guess ACP, which is this BAI plus IBM shit. And other people are going to make registries too. So don't think that IBM is the only person who's going to make an agent registry, y'all. everyone's going to do it. It's like, honestly, capitalism exists for a reason. So communicating across multiple BAI agents in a local first setting, sure. A to A, enabling agent to agent interoperability across frameworks. We truly believe in A to A. You can also do MCP as an A to agent, right? Like your MCP server could be an agent as well. Typical deployments, multiple servers, each exposing data integrated by an MCP host. That's not necessarily true. In Mastras, you can host multiple MCP servers in one server, but that's just a implementation detail. BAI, server orchestrates open source agents in a single environment. Don't know what that means, to be honest. Agents, and then A to A is agents on separate frameworks discover and connect via HTTP endpoints. That's just how the world works already, so that makes sense, right? Mr. Z said, "Hey Shane," but there is no Shane on today's live stream. So sorry if you were looking for someone else. This is Marvin. Sorry.
Hey, Mr. X.
Mr. Z. We'll call him Mr. X because he called you Shane, right? Cool. And he has a question and a suggestion, so go for it, dude. And then we're gonna keep going here. You can definitely post that. Key features here, interesting. So for MCP, standard for hooking external services to LLMs. That's totally like the dream, right? The integration story. ACP, multi-agent setups, agent discovery, deep telemetry, and BAI. Sounds familiar in my opinion. And then A to A has this agent card, which is how you discover agents and their other capabilities. So theoretically, if all of our agents are on HTTP servers or endpoints, we can then get the information about an agent. You can see what you can do, like what capabilities or tools that it has, right? And then you can start talking with it. And then the common use cases, single or multiple LLMs that need consistent ways to ingest context. Yeah, that's what they told us. And then you can spin up, and for ACP, you can spin up a variety of AI agents behind local first. I don't understand this local first shit, but okay. Yeah, maybe it's like in your, I don't know, some IBM. It's like an IBM computer somewhere. And then for A to A, you linking disparate agent vendors so they can all share stuff, which is totally like, I don't know. The more I think about A to A, the more I fall in love with like the future that, if Markus and his team want to create, I don't know, any kind of agent in any other framework, but we want to do business together still, like our agents, like that's totally like the way I see the future. So now this thing's going through all this other stuff, but we don't really have to go through it. I would suggest people go read about this BAI thing. I'm going to go read about it some more. I'm not really sold on its idea right now, but that's usually how things go. Most engineers are assholes, right? Like us. So we first will not want to do it, then they'll come around to it or something. So anyway, so let's move off of AI news for a bit, and let's talk to Markus proper real quick. So let me get into our next segment here, which is talking about CopilotKit. So Markus, the floor is yours, dude.
Cool.
Yeah, go for it. Tell us everything.
So where should we start? I
want to know the origin story.
What is the origin story?
Your origin story too.
My one, right? So in 2023, when LLMs started happening, a couple of months after that, I decided that it would be very interesting to have the LLMs interact with your applications directly with React applications, and basically to expose what the user sees on their screen and the things that the user can do on the screen to the LLM. So I started a project called Beak.js, which I posted to GitHub and to Hacker News, and it got some traction and got on the front page. It was also roasted because it did expose the OpenAI API keys, which I actually put there on purpose, but it's Hacker News, so that's how it is. So that's how I met the other guys from CopilotKit, who were working on exactly the same idea, even down to the API level. So the names were slightly different, but it was doing exactly the same thing. And you found them 3 weeks later, also posting on Hacker News, also getting on the front page, and connected with them, and they were just doing Techstars Seattle. So we decided to join forces, and yeah, so basically that's how we got together, and how the whole thing started for me. For them, it started like a bit earlier than that.
Awesome. It was beef
Yeah.
JS, like meat, like
A
beef?
beak, like back then
Oh, like
people
a
were saying
parrot bird?
yeah, right, because the people were saying LLMs are stochastic
Mhm.
parrots, and there was a play on that.
Oh, I found Beak JS. I'm gonna post it for everyone else
Big
to also
jazz,
look
yeah.
at.
Didn't touch it for quite some time.
This is
Exactly,
the
yeah, that's what it
origin.
is.
Beak JS. Nice. So then tell us about CopilotKit.
Right, so CopilotKit is an open source React framework that lets you connect your agents to your application. So if you're using Mastra and you want Mastra to take action inside of your React applications, if you want Mastra to see what the user currently has on their screen, you can use CopilotKit to get, to get first of all that connection going, and also to get UI going inside of your application that you can use to chat with your agents. So yeah, that's CopilotKit in a nutshell. Basically, it's something that connects your front end applications to AI agents, and it has several built-in capabilities that make human in the loop interactions, in-chat renderings of generative UI and stuff like that really easy. So basically, you can get CopilotKit integrated in your existing application or new application in a matter of a couple of hours, basically. Yeah, so
And you support pretty
that's
much
how I
all the
summarize
frameworks,
it.
right?
Yeah, we do support a lot of frameworks. We currently support 4 agent frameworks, and there are more to come. We basically supported 2 in the beginning, and then we decided to extract the mechanism that lets us connect to the agent frameworks into its own protocol. So now there's another protocol that's called AGUI, and that's an initiative to have an open protocol that is, completely isolated from CopilotKit. And this open protocol lets you connect to any agent framework, basically, and connect front ends in particular to any agent frameworks. And we do support, I think, 6 of them now.
Nice. I'm gonna post
Yeah.
the CopilotKit blog post, I believe. Guessing it was this one. That's not really a good, pretty
Yeah.
URL, but I'll share my screen. We can like kind of walk through it. Boom.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
So, floor is yours. I'll just be the wheelman.
Right. So here we have a nice graphic basically explaining what AGUI is. So it's a layer that sits between your application and the agent frameworks. It can work in 2 ways. So basically, it can bridge an existing protocol to something that your application can easily understand. Like it unifies all of these protocols, or you can just implement the HTTP events yourself, and then you can also connect to it. And that's basically what the next paragraph is saying, right? So it enables certain things like that are enabled by events, messages, or tool calls. You can send the agent state to the front end. You can also patch it to efficiently send agent state. And you can see in this graphic where the whole thing fits in with the other protocols. So you would have an agent, and the agent would have tools via MCP. It will be able to communicate with other agents with A to A. And the last mile, to the user would be covered by AGUI.
Yeah, which is super sick. I want to put you on the spot, and I want to see if you could show us. So, what I heard, there's this cool dojo that AGOI has, and I would love if
Yeah,
we could show people a demo.
sure. Sure. So let me just do that. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, adding it to the scene now. Boom.
Yeah, so basically this is the dojo, and it's kind of lets you look at the features that CopilotKit provides in isolation. So these are all the things that you can do with CopilotKit, and it just implements one feature at a time. Certainly, you can combine all these features to build them all in your application. So what we got is basic chat, and this whole chat widget here. This is something that CopilotKit provides to you out of the box, so you can just get the standard chat going. But what you can also do easily is to have a front-end tool call made available to your agent framework. So in this case, we just made a stupid example up, which is setting a background for the window. So if I want to set the background to a blue gradient, I can just do that, and the LLM, the agent framework, will be able to call that front-end tool call and set the background. And in the case of Mastras, this is really, really easy because Abhi and I were working together to basically just make everything work out of the box. So if you have CopilotKit connected with Mastras, it will just work without you doing anything. So I think that's really awesome.
Marcus, could you explain to the folks what are client side tool calls or front end tool calls as opposed to what people traditionally think of back end tool calls or whatever?
Right. So backend tool calls would typically be something you would pass to the LLM, which you typically connect to on your server side, and you would execute that tool call on the server side and add a result message there. Now, with front-end tool calls, it works in a similar fashion, but these are tool calls that happen inside of your browser that get executed inside of the browser. And in the case of CopilotKit, that are also highly, dependent on the context. So basically what the user is currently looking at. You can have really complex applications that have tons of tool calls, right? But you don't want to give all of these tool calls at once to the LLM. You only want to give the tool calls that are relevant for the user right now to the LLM. And that's what CopilotKit helps you do, basically.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Can we keep going down the demos here?
Absolutely. So the next thing is a demo of, say, you want to have the user tells the agent framework something, and the agent framework comes up with a plan, and you want the user to be able to select the steps in a plan. It actually wants the agent to perform. So let's say in this case, I want to plan a trip to the moon, and it's going to come up with a bunch of steps. So we're going to choose a launch date and select a spacecraft and so on. And for example, we decide we are too cheap to train the astronauts. We don't need to do that. Also, we skip all pre-flight checks. That's too expensive. And we don't want the permits. We can also skip that. And now we will just let the agent framework know that these steps are not necessary, and we're just going to do that. And it prepared an answer for us, basically, which is a placeholder for actually doing things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it totally got that result, and it will be able to act upon that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's do. Let me 1 second. I have to do the 155 people here. Welcome. If you're just catching us now, we started off by talking about AI news. We talked about Greptile's research on if Claude 4.0 is actually better than 3.7. Spoiler, it's not. We talked about BAI and how we don't understand what it is. We also talked about MCP, A2A, and we brought Markus in to talk about CopilotKit and AGUI. And now he's giving us a demo. Before we get back into it, we have some questions we just need to get off. So Mr. X said, How would you do the deploy on Mastras with Git? Um, okay. Sorry, I kind of don't understand this question, but we don't really do deploys with Git. I mean, the source code is in Git, and then we use that, right, to then deploy applications. If Git is down, the whole world is fucked. So I'm not really tripping about Git being down or not. So yeah. We have another one. Mr. X would like to rep us as an AI influencer, and you too, Marcus. That's cool. I don't know. Talk to Shane about that. We are not in the right circle to be doing that type of stuff. And then lastly, can we use client-side tools with Masha right now? Yes. If you pass client tools as an option to generate or stream, you can call that. It gets even easier because CopilotKit or in AGUI, they have like a client-side tool kind of function to do all this type of stuff where you just kind of pass it into the protocol and it's game on. But if you want to do naked or vanilla, you could totally do the same thing. I don't know if I recommend that though, right, Marcus? You should probably just use the AGUI.
Yeah, so I mean, it's up to you, but if you want to have an easy time, I would definitely go for CopilotKit
Yeah.
because
Ooh, this is a good question, Marcus. And maybe this is where you're headed or something, but can this setup be done on mobile?
on mobile. So yes, we do support the usual responsive rendering of the chat view. So you can totally do like a responsive web application with CopilotKit, but we are also going to expand to iOS and Android. So stay tuned for that. We're not ready yet, but it's gonna happen.
Are you going to make some like Swift UI type libraries that people
Yeah,
can use? Dude,
absolutely,
that is sick. That is
absolutely.
sick. And
Yeah.
React Native?
I think that's gonna be even before iOS suddenly. So
Whoa.
that's
Expo?
gonna be easier. Wouldn't it just work with Expo? I don't
Yeah,
know.
but I
I'm not
just
very
tried to stump
experienced
you
with
or
that.
something. All right, let's keep getting back in the demo then.
Okay,
And
cool.
thank you for
And
the questions, Wendell and Simon and Mr. X.
cool. So just one thing I forgot to mention, that this UI basically that gets rendered in here, it's totally up to the developer to come up with it. You can make it look like anything you want, basically. And it's really easy to hook into that to provide some custom JSX to render that UI. In this case, it's this list. It can be anything. So yeah, so let's say you have an agent and it does something that takes a real long time. For example, going to Mars, right? And you want to provide an update to the user what the agent is currently doing, so it knows the agent is still alive and doing stuff for you. So we have this agentic generative UI feature that lets you do that. So if I ask it to go to Mars now, it's going to tell me what it's doing right now, and I get an update about that as a user. So basically, I see what it has done, I see what it's doing right now, and that's really useful. It's it gives the user a notion that something is happening. It tells the user what is exactly happening. So we have this feature. Another thing you can do, which is really nice, is that you can call tools on the server side, but you also want to let the user know or basically give the user feedback that something is being rendered on the server, even with UI. So in this case, this haiku function is a server-side function, but it also gets rendered on the client, right? We can do that. It's also very useful. And by the way, you can also link it to the rest of your UI. It's not only limited to the chat. And on the CopilotKit website, you can find tons of tutorials on how to do all of that stuff, right? So I'm just going quickly through that, but there's a lot of documentation how to do it. So yeah, you can render things that happen on the server side, also on the client. Another feature we have is a shared state, and that's actually a feature that a lot of our users like a lot. So basically, the idea is that your agent can have state, like in this case, the state for a recipe, and you can share this with the user, and the user can start editing that state and then hand it back to the agent and let the agent, do some additional stuff with it. For example, I can say, I prefer to have a recipe made and it should be vegan and low carb. and I can ask the agent, okay, make me a recipe and respect my preferences. And now the agent, is filling out that recipe and is doing that things, and it actually saw that stage, right? So it made it vegan, and it looks like, yeah, it's totally vegan, and it's also low carb. It picked almond flour instead of normal one and stuff like that, and it added the instructions, right?
Wow.
So
next gen user experience. That's awesome. I like this one.
So cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Where do you think the future is like chat UIs? Like, or because that's kind of, and I don't want to like, no offense with what I just said, but like,
Yeah.
like, for example, Vercel's AI SDK React thing, like it's very much trying to be like a chat GPT template, right? But I see you're having this component-based development, and also having done the integration with you, like it's just very modular in a lot of ways. Like,
Yeah.
is it because, I mean, and this is the question, is like, there's more to this than just the chat UI, right? Like in the future.
Yeah. So in my personal opinion, it will be a mixture of all kinds of things. So there will be, really intelligent autocomplete, not just text, but also other UI elements, forms and stuff like that. There will be certainly chat, and there will be, tons of other element, like maybe, I don't know, people will just come up with it. I guess, CopilotKit enables this also, that you can take our solution and extend it and invent new ways for AI to basically do something inside of the application. And to me, I think that's the future. There will be chat and there will be other things that will be invented by people.
Yeah, this is dope, dude. This is dope. Can we let the audience know, all 172 of them now, what's the relationship with Mastras and CopilotKit AGUI?
Yeah. So Mastras agents integrate very tightly with CopilotKit. It's extremely easy to set up. And you can, if you have an existing Mastras agent, you can basically hook it up to CopilotKit in under 1 hour. And we are going to continue building more stuff and building more integrations. I think the next one, I mean, certainly also up to you guys, but I would be really interested in also having Mastras vNext workflows inside of CopilotKit and also making it easy to hook that up. So yeah, Mastras is an agent framework that CopilotKit integrates with, and it's really easy to get going with.
And we're definitely bringing workflows to AGUI for sure. That is like the next frontier for sure.
Nice.
Well, I guess let's call it here. Thanks so much, Markus, for coming. Really appreciate it. This is dope. AGUI is sick. And so, yeah. We will see you again sometime, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Dude.
This is so good, man. I like this kind of, interactive UIs that just pops up and modify the screen. We had the discussion yesterday. I was like, hey, I need to find a use case for client-side tooling because, damn, that was dope, right?
That was so cool. And Markus is such a smart and nice guy, too.
Yeah.
So he's a pleasure to work with when we were doing the integration.
Yeah. Just want to talk with it now.
Hey, we'll bring you in. Maybe you guys can work on some stuff, right? Because, our playground right now is written. If you all use Mastras Playground is using Assistant UI.
Yeah.
And then we wrote some custom code around that, which I'm starting to think like maybe it's time for a change. So the more these different UI protocols get better, the possibilities of building really rich applications goes up. And I think many of us probably, and I think AI in general was like late to the game on the UI part, right? And now it's like maybe AI SDK and Vercel were like the first dudes to do it, but it's not always going to be that way, So,
yeah. But I'm excited about what they do.
Yeah, dude, I'm so stoked about that. Then we have a question from Wendell. Does Mastras and CopilotKit both live in the cloud? Well, you can run it locally. You can host it yourself with Mastras as well as CopilotKit. CopilotKit has a bunch of integrations with Next.js or HTTP servers. Mastras you can embed in an HTTP server or run standalone. So yeah, they both have cloud products for depending on what you want to do. So very much they both live in the cloud because I think everything ends in the cloud anyway. But you can run these things locally for free, open source. That is our mantra. So great question, Wendell. Thank you. Okay, let's bring on our next segment. And we will get to some coding, I promise. But we're going to meet some Mastras. Let me see if Paul is ready. Except I don't know where my mouse is. There it is. Come on in. I guess while we wait, you having fun?
Yeah, man.
All 180 people in here? What up? If you're just joining us now, because I got to do this recap every 10 minutes or so, thank you for being here. This is AI Agents Hour, like European edition. Marvin and I are in France. This is Marvin, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not Shane.
Not Shane. We are in Strasbourg, in France. It's pretty tight. We started the day with AI agent news. Essentially, we talked about Claude v 4.0 versus 3.7. We talked about Greptile, and they did the research article. We talked about MCP, A to A, ACP, which is Agent Communication Protocol that we learned, and BAI from IBM. Bunch of freaking 3-letter acronyms, I'll be honest. But we learned about them. And so then we had Markus come from CopilotKit. He told us and showed us the great demos on the CopilotKit Dojo, which is like all the different UI components they have. And we also kind of chilled and looked at the demos and answered some questions. And now we'll bring in a Mastras, Paul, to the stream. And he's going to talk about some stuff and show us off some docs changes and stuff. Paul, welcome, bud. How you doing?
Hey, man.
Hi, how's it going? I feel a bit rushed of just joining an emergency join after having a drain blockage, so I'm a little bit unprepared.
no.
I apologise. I was all prepared, and now I'm slightly unprepared. How's it going?
Good. It's been fun stream so far. It's your first live stream, huh?
Second one. I had one with Shane last time during the evening.
Oh, nice.
And we were discussing about some playground stuff.
Paul's kind of a frequent guest these days, you know. We almost doxed him the other day. He was at a coffee shop, and now he's here again.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today, Paul?
So I just wanted to pop in and just say we've got some new docs updates that have been happening. That's, for anyone who doesn't know, that's kind of my primary thing that I'm working on at the moment. And so we just revamped the Getting Started guide. So hopefully now that should take you through absolutely every single thing that you need to do to get you up and running super quick. The next thing we're working on is what we're calling with, and I guess it's like with X, so with Express, so how you can use Mastras with Express. We're revamping the Next.js guides. They're a little more involved because, as I'm sure you know, there's multiple ways to use Next.js, whether you're pre or post 14 is going to determine whether you're using app router or pages router. But there's also differences between API routes and server actions. There's some differences there. For any Astro fans, we've got an Astro guide coming up to show you how you can integrate Mastras with Astro. And then I think we're also going to do a good old React plus Vite for any kind of typical SPA front end, back end situations. They're not all merged yet, but they will be coming. I specifically, I suppose, am looking for any feedback. So if you are using either of these guides, you can find me in the Discord and just hit me up, and we'll try and make improvements where we can.
Hell yeah. Do we want to go through one of them, like maybe the Express one, or?
Good question. because I'm going to need to spin up a local branch because it's not merged yet. Let me. Do you want to talk amongst yourselves while I see if I can get this up and running on my local setup?
Yeah, we'll answer some questions in the meantime.
Yeah.
All 189 of you, thanks for being here. I'm not going to do the recap right now. I just did it. I'm not going to do it again. But we got some comments here. Are there any upcoming updates planned regarding networks? Yes. Actually, Tony is going to post in Discord in the hashtag laboratory thread probably tomorrow morning about our new agent network primitive. It is really sick. And we'll probably bring him on tomorrow or so on the live stream, and he can give a demo and see where it's at. Marvin and I and some other folks were discussing the UX and the design of it because it's not necessarily a chat UI anymore. We don't know what it truly is. It's some shit. It's a network, right? So you are talking to a routing agent, but then there's so many things that are happening. So we're going to come with the plan and stuff like that. That's cool. Thank you for that question. I don't know, Caesar. So you got Michael Scott as your avatar, which is dope. I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious, you know. When I use Mastras workflows, I keep getting rate limited by LLM calls. Is there a way to set delay between successive calls? I mean, there sure is a way we could do that for the user. The problem is you can't be too prescriptive about things, right? You are the one who wrote that step. We can do some type of retry or back off or delay or something, but then it gets kind of muddy. Like those things should be, for most things, I would say we should do something. I don't know this particular use case, but if you're doing like parallel execution, you need to have concurrency. We do support concurrency on parallels in the workflows if that's what you're doing. Or if it's just all these steps are running and you're running into that stuff, yeah, you probably will need to delay. You could also add delays yourself, like in userland. But what I would suggest you do is go to Discord. In our Discord, we have a channel called feedback, product discussion, etc. Once you post this there, we can link the whole team and we can talk about maybe we can look at your workflow and see what's going on. But unfortunately, not a really good time over this live stream to kind of debug it. So Discord, see you there. All right, Paul, we ready?
Yes, I think so. Let me see if I can do a share screen on this.
I'm happy there is some fun and stuff on this live.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So in the docs on the left-hand side, we've got this frameworks menu. So with Express will be coming. So this is for integrating Mastras into an existing Express application, and an Express application is typically going to be separated from your front end. So it might actually work kind of nicely with the React plus Vite one we're going to do shortly. But this would be, if you've got an Express server or Express application running on a separate server, you can drop Mastras right into it. I've added this little call out because I did run into some issues with Express 5, some type discrepancies between the types package for Express. I think maybe Express and types Express aren't quite aligned. So at the moment, I'm just saying run with Express 4. You shouldn't have any problems. We're going to walk through installing the core Mastras dependencies and then Mastras init. So this is slightly different to create Mastras, and these are probably some important differences to call out in the way you can get started with Mastras. So the way I'm kind of defining it at the moment is create Mastras would be building a new project that's just Mastras. Mastras init would be to add Mastras to an existing project. So Mastras init is what we're using here. Just walked you through adding the dev and build scripts, tsconfig, setting up your environment variables, the usual start the Mastras dev server, and then just an example of an Express API route that will invoke the weather agent. I think everyone at Mastras at any given time always knows what the weather is wherever they are, thanks to the default weather agent. So yeah, this is just one of many guides that's coming, but all will probably use the weather agent to get you up and running.
Awesome, dude. We had a lot of people having existing Express apps that wanted to know how to how to set things up. And funny thing, in open source, you can't just say it's easy. You can go just do it. Like that's not the right word. You have to provide documentation, examples. Even if we may think like, oh, it's pretty obvious. You just import Mastra and there you go. Like it's never that easy, right? What else are you seeing, Paul? Like what with X is like, are you most looking forward to?
I think the React Vite one. I think maybe this comes from, shall I say, the vibe coders, but there's a lot of apps that are being built by, Lovable, amongst others, and they will be React SPAs. Server-side rendering has a lot of good uses, but traditionally React SPAs was the way to do it. And so having Mastra being able to be its own back end that you can call from the front end. And that also opens up a lot of extra documentation that we need to write around the Mastra client, because this is how you can query Mastra from anywhere. So that one's pretty exciting. And I think, it just shows, as I'm working through this, it just shows that, as Sam sort of mentioned yesterday, is we do often get that question of, can Mastra be used with X? And the answer is yes. In probably every case, it's yes. And these with docs will provide an example of, I guess I'm trying to break them down into 2 or 3 maybe pillars of usage, if you like. One being Express, which would be just a backend. Something like Next.js or Astro or Svelte would be like an integrated front and back end. And then having React SPA with Mastra just as an API, that's like your third use case using the Mastra client. So there's kind of 3 separate ways. But we have everything. We just need to make sure that it's documented and clear.
Very cool. Very cool. Anything else you want to tell the audience before you dip?
There might be some changes to the model capabilities. We just wanted to make sure that everybody's absolutely aware that Mastra can be used with everything that AI SDK has, although we might not have listed every single model. It will work with every single model. And then I would like to do a little bit of work around what happens if you don't want to use AI SDK. For instance, if you just wanted to use the OpenAI SDK on its own. So I'm going to try and create some docs around that, and possibly some other edge cases as and when they come up. But if you do have a use case actually that isn't using AI SDK, and again, hit me up in the Discord, and maybe that's something we can look at.
Yeah, definitely. We get that question a lot too. It's like, oh, can you use Mastra with X model? And that answer, once again, saying it is not the answer, right? It's actually like providing the documentation and clear guidelines and stuff like that. So, Paul, you're doing the Lord's work, dude. Thank you. Really appreciate you being here.
No worries, man. I'll let you crack on with the rest of your stream then.
Yeah.
See ya. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
That guy's cool, man.
He's so nice.
Yeah, I like that guy.
I mean, when you read the documentation, when we worked them, just flows. Yeah. So that's awesome.
Paul's also from Gatsby, by the way, for those joining us. 202 of you. And we are now in our final segment, which is automations. We're going to write some code, which is fun. Yeah, I need to also change this thing to do this now. Oh, dude, we're so high tech around here. And then thanks everyone for the questions in not Discord, in the chat. That's really cool. Happy that everyone's here. I will do a recap of what has gone down because that's what you're supposed to do, I guess. Welcome to AI Agents Hour, European edition. We are in Strasbourg, France. This guy, King of Kings, or Kings of Kings. What up, dude? We talked about Claude V4 versus V3.7 via Greptile blog post. We talked about MCP, ACP, A to A, BAI, IBM, like all IBS, it's giving me IBS, honestly, talking about all these things. So that was really interesting. And then what else? We talked with CopilotKit, AGUI, showed a cool demo of how you can, like what's capable in their library to take AI agents and then put a bunch of UI in it, which was dope. And then you just saw Paul talk about like where we're going with these documentation and guides, starting with, using Mastra with Express, or Astro or Next.js or you name it, we'll do it. And if you do have opinions about things, Discord, our Discord is where you should go. Let me post that Discord link somewhere here. And if you want to reach out to us and hang out there, please do. It's a good time in there. And we answer your questions. So if you want to go, come to Discord. It's pretty tight. There are 2,100 members, which is wild because we only started Mastras October 1st, and there's 2,100 people in there, and everyone's really nice in there. When you get to like a Discord kind of capacity, things start getting like, you start having some like community guidelines and breaking and stuff. But everyone's been very respectful, and I think we also respect y'all and we respect your time. I know we are all busy and stuff. We're doing our best, but thanks for being on the ride with us. All 213 of you now. Thank you. Next thing we're going to do, Marvin, is we're going to freaking code some stuff.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. I'm going to set the stage of what we're going to do. This is not some like, it's not going to be some like fancy thing. It's literally solving a need that we have right now, which is when an issue or a pull request comes in GitHub, we want to assign it to the right domain expertise at Mastras. And the same goes for the Discord messages. So many of y'all open up Discord messages in our help channel, and we need to triage those, right? So you can imagine it's kind of like an emergency room. If like y'all know about the doctors, right? There's like a triage nurse that takes all the cases and then triages them amongst the people there. And then that's kind of how we operate, except, for example, like, I guess we shouldn't compare ourselves to doctors, right? It's kind of dumb. But everyone on the team has different like specialization. And we strategically hired this way, and we have areas of focus all over. Mastras does a lot of things. So if we're going to, again, if a message or an issue comes up, we need to then triage it to the person that is like, that's their area of ownership. So what I'm thinking is we'll do like a GitHub workflow that when an issue is created, we will label it, and then we will assign it to somebody. That's probably where we will end up, Yeah. Then we could also start reading Discord messages and see if we can do something there. I'm not sure how to do that, but we'll figure it out. And Ward, Ward's here. I'm gonna invite Ward just so he can come and say hi, because why not? Ward Pete on the street. And Mastras Discord is the best. Yeah, it is. We have another question here. Do you know of a way to build an AI WhatsApp integrated chatbot for a website? Yeah, well, you just have to build a WhatsApp app that has a HTTP webhook endpoint or whatever, and then you can actually just use Mastras for that. I believe there were some community showcases that did Telegram and WhatsApp as well. Come to our Discord, and you probably learn how to do that. There's actually many people in the Discord who are actually building that same thing. So we'll see you there, Kings of Kings. And surprise guest today.
Oh, wow.
Ward! Are you with the horses, dude? Where did he go? Oh.
That was fast.
Well, at least you saw him, He was there for a second. Oh, he's back. He's back. There he is. What up, dude?
So, hey. Doing good. I was just pairing with Darrow to get the release ready, and now I still have to give my horse some hay.
Nice. So, y'all may know there's Ward's horse, which is dope. Let's also make Ward the focus on this thing, huh?
Imagine
How do I do that?
joining an AI show and you end up watching horses. That's awesome. I love this show.
Dude, this is AI Agents Hour. It's a variety show, Like we do a bunch of.
Man, that's a beast. Wow.
That's a big ass horse. So we have this like running gag here that being a farmer is like the ultimate. It's the level above principal engineer, right? So Ward is our farmer engineer for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
impressed by everything he has to manage. At the pro and personal level, that's
Yeah, he manages all the our
Decent.
open source, and
wow.
you got to worry about this big ass horse. I think most of y'all must have seen the A to A video we did on Twitter, where Ward and I were shoveling horse shit. This is the horses, by the way. That is the horse. So, and he's eating hay now. That's so cool. I was literally just there a couple days ago.
That's
I was
crazy.
there. Yeah, now I'm in a different country, which was not that far away, by the way.
Yeah. Lots of
Um,
fun.
213 of you here. I know if you're just joining us, you just see a horse on the screen. It's kind of weird, right? Like you're just walking into some shit. But we are talking about AI and stuff. It's just we're taking a little break with meeting our teammate's horse, So
That's so cool.
yeah, and he has 3
And
goats. All right, we got to highlight the goats real quick. We got to highlight these goats. Look at that goat, dude. When we were recording the video, the goat almost like attacked me. The big one. There's a big goat. I think he's like in a pen somewhere.
No,
These two are girl goat.
it's this one.
Oh, this one. Yeah, he tried to get me.
And in
Look, he's
the
trying to get Ward right now. There's another goat right there.
just chilling in the house.
Oh, he's a terror right here. He's a terror.
He destroys all my houses, my fence.
Yep, he's trying to destroy something right now. So, Ward, tell me, Tuesdays are what day in Mastra?
Oh, that's too close. Basically, it's a release day. So every Tuesday we do a stable release, and which means that we have to make sure that everything is working correctly. Like we run our alphas every day, or we try to. Basically, whenever we do like a feature, we want to get to people, like in people's hands. We try to do an alpha. So we do a couple, like we try to do daily, but sometimes it takes like 2 days or something. So we do some testing beforehand, but then on Tuesday it's like D-Day, because then we have to make sure everything works. Like make sure we didn't break anything, make sure that our cloud product is also working with the latest release. Like because every time we add new features to the playground, we want to make sure that Master Cloud as well is up to date. So and we have tests running in pull requests and all those things, but they do not always catch everything. So and they can be flaky. Like today we struggled with some flaky tests. So I spent with Darrow probably almost 2 hours, like 1 hour and a half, on like getting things going. But seems like we are back on track. So the flaky test should be fixed, but we will monitor in a couple of hours to see if we actually fixed everything.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for coming on, Ward. We're gonna get to coding, but we'll see you. Well, we work together, so we'll see you.
Yeah, make me those Discord bots that we need.
Yeah, we're about to make that. So
Great.
Excellent, man.
Yeah, later, Ward. Thanks for coming.
Bye-bye.
All right, and then they're back to us. Okay, let's get back to work, huh? So that was cool. That was a nice, pleasant surprise from Ward.
But that's super fun.
Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to. I guess there's 223 of you now. I'm not going to do the recap because you just came into the horse stuff. That was cool. But I'll tell you what we're doing now, and then I'll do a recap in a bit. We're going to build some automations. So in open source. Also, I might open source this too, because if you're running an open source project, you're probably going to want to do the same thing, right? You need to triage issues to the people, especially if you have a team. Like we have a squad, right? A squad of killers, by the way. So it's really important that we triage to people, especially if y'all want us to fix something. It needs to be triaged and it needs to be recorded and assigned. And like, I know we're a small team, but we do have a process, right? Like it's not a big process. It's more so very flowing and free, but we still have a process, right? But right now, the process is me triaging. But I went to Japan and I'm in France and I'm doing all this shit. So there needs to be a me triaging all the time. Also, I can only triage at a certain time in the day, right? But it should be real time. Therefore, we're gonna make something happen. What do you think?
I'm excited.
Let's do it. So let me get into my screen share season. So let's do this screen. All right, y'all can see my code here. Oops, sorry. Okay. All right, let's.
So what do we have in this folder right now?
I think we just make a new agent first. So
Let's go.
I think it's nice to just make a new agent, I guess, even though we may have this code somewhere else. So we'll do npx create Mastra at latest. So we'll see how this goes. What do I want to name my project? We'll call it triage nurse. All right. We should have, I think I said this before, npm install should have music.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can bring some music. Yeah. Why it's installing? Do you want a coffee or something? You can bring your coffee.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay.
But if you
I mean,
should.
I'm okay. It's just my fifth for today, so I want to just take it easy.
Yesterday we drank 5 beers, and then today we're going to be drinking 5 coffees. So.
But she's a 5 every time.
Also, interwebs. I don't know. It's taking a long time.
Mm-hmm.
There we are. Source. Let's just install everything. Why not? Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm getting full every time with this one. I'm pressing space every time, and it's just shifting between the two. It's like, hey.
Let's add the example. I already have the IDE thing. Sorry, I should explain this. I should explain this better. I'm sorry, y'all. This is like create Mastra is like the way to start your project. We have all these defaults. Like our default agent and workflows are like these weather. It's a weather agent and like a planning activity planner. These are like just examples you can get in and run with, and then you can select a default provider. This will install the AI SDK model router for that model. So like we selected OpenAI, so we're going to get the AI SDK / OpenAI module. We added an example, sure, and then this question is really nice, which is make your AI IDE into a Mastra expert. We do MCP doc servers. We have one. That's what we use. We have an AI chatbot in our docs that knows Mastra. And if you use it in MCP server, you can then use Windsurf or Cursor to leverage that MCP server to then write Mastra code for you. Given that we created Mastra, I don't necessarily need to use it that much, but I can understand, those who are just getting involved, you should probably install it. The reason I skipped it is I already have it installed globally, so I don't really need to do it again. And I use Windsurf. Just want to let you all know that. I use Windsurf, okay? What do you use? God damn. God, how could you? No, I'm just kidding. How could you?
Yeah. Wait, it looks pretty nice, so
Yeah.
I'm just happy with this one.
But I'm a surfer, so
Yeah.
that's what we do. Let me make this bigger.
It's almost the same,
So first thing I want to do is we need to call some code when an issue is going to be called.
Yeah.
So let's see what the interface is for that first. Like, how can we? And I know GitHub Workflows has something, right? For sure. So let's look that up. So GitHub Workflows, new issue. I should probably just use Claude or something as well. Events that trigger workflows. Nice. Issues.
All right.
And then we have issue created or opened.
Open, yeah.
Nice.
And also do stuff on label, which is nice if you want to send messages to teams, for example.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's also open up. This is Mastras. Let me just get back into main branch. This is our open source repo. So I'll insert this. And in here, let's make this bigger as well. In here, there should be all of our GitHub workflows here. Now we have like a new issue.yaml, but this is like for labeling stuff, which is fine. But we kind of want to do this vibe. But I want to call my agent as it's like as if it was a service, right? Like it's not going to be here. Whatever the hell this is doing, it's not necessarily doing that. So actually, let's do this issue triage.yaml. And I can copy a lot of this other shit. So let's do that real quick. And let's call this GH issue triage. Whenever we open and reopen, I like those events. We can just use those. And then, yeah, we don't want to run on forks.
Mm-hmm.
Be a lesson to y'all. Don't run on forks. Runs on this. That's fine. Everything looked chill so far. This turbo stuff, it matters to us, but it really wouldn't matter to you.
Not much. Starting dependencies, blah, blah. So just to be clear for everyone, we will create a GitHub workflow, right? This one will react to labeling issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we will try to send information to a Mastras service, or we'll just run it inside the action itself. Is that correct?
Yeah, or we'll run a script or something here
directly here
that would then call us. But how do you test GitHub workflows locally? Do you know?
I don't really know.
Oh shit!
I'm cheating and pushing one commit after the other every time.
Oh really? Yeah, that's what I do too. It's on. Chat, does anyone know how you test workflows locally? Or we just have to make some shit up? I mean, we're going to write some tests anyway, so I'm really tripping. But I guess we just pray, honestly.
And just run echo and you just verify.
C'est la vie. C'est la vie.
And then you run your script locally and then you see.
So in our thing here, we don't need any of this because we're not actually calling any. Like, we don't need to check out the repository. Or maybe we do actually because we're going to run a script. Right, but we don't need to build, or maybe we need to install.
Yeah, it depends on what we have inside, but yeah, we can install for now. We don't mind.
And this is like in some directory, sure.
Yeah.
We're not even like we're gonna need this, I guess, so we can put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Do we have a scripts folder?
There was one in the GitHub folder, I think.
Yeah, this scripts. Okay. So what if we do scripts, and then we do our we'll call it GH triage, issue triage. That's just it. And then within here, we just have, node.
Yeah.
I guess we could do like NPX, right? Or TSX.
Yeah, TSX if we want to run it in TypeScript. Or if you just want to have it,
TSX. Yeah. I just want to run like
TSX directly.
Yeah.
TS, you're right.
This is just our script that's going to be in there.
Looks good.
And all this shit is fine. I don't know what we don't. Once again, we don't need this either.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we're getting all this from the environment variables, which is nice. And I really don't think we need this turbo shit either, do we?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I mean,
maybe
if it messed up. I don't know about this. I've not checked this out, to be honest.
So let's think about how does this actually how is this script going to work? So we'll have scripts. We'll make GH issue triage, a folder, and then we're going to do our index.ts in here. Index.ts. Cool. Now, as you all see, we got these environment variables that tells us what's this is like our key on how we're going to do shit. So first, I'm going to grab these. So when this runs in GitHub workflows, these variables will exist. So I'll just put them right here for now. And then we will spoof that when we need to. Okay, then we'll just have a main function that runs. Very
Java-ish.
Very Very nice, very nice. And then we'll just call it. That's our script, right? Cool. But as we know, we need to do stuff in here. Now our master project is going to be somewhere else, right? Like I just made it. So from the perspective of this call, it's going to need to do something with the data. So first things first, we need to know, like, let's just set up like a test harness here, right? We need to know like the issue's title and description, right? From GitHub. We have to fetch that. And that'll be some context that we will know with the agent, right? So that's one thing. That's like getting data in.
Yep.
And then this also can work with the Discord thing is like, what is the data of this message, right? So then given a message, you need to be able to triage it. So let's actually pause here and pretend. Let's like spoof it on the other side. And then we can come back to this. So we have our pretend, or this is our triage nurse agent. And let's go to agents. And here we have, I said we were going to have a weather agent like we always do. But let's actually make our triage agent. And there you go. Let's get rid of this for now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna real code this. I'm not gonna vibe code it. I'm gonna real code it. Or maybe I'll just tab myself to victory actually. But so we'll have that. We're gonna get an agent. We'll make our triage agent. Look how, dude, I think it's already trying to vibe me to a victory, honestly. I love that.
They know the intention already.
They know. So we do need some instructions, and then I don't know what kind of model would suit best for this. Like, we don't necessarily need a
I don't think
big
it's
model.
complex enough for that.
It's not really complex, right? It's more of like an assignment task. So let's work on our instructions then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where this shit's going down.
Looking for prompt engineers. I'm not good at this shit, man.
So there's two ways we could do this, right? We could prompt the triage agent with the issue itself, right? And it can then use tool call to fetch the issue data and then assign it. Or because we already have in the script here, we could already fetch it ourselves and then pass context along. This is a good lesson. Why do you want the LLM to call the agent when you could just call the function here, like for free, essentially? It would cost more money to pass it to the agent. We're also doing something very deterministic, right? We know what issue number we have to fetch. It's not like we don't know. So that's why we're not. We're going to build context before passing it in. And so this will be pretty like a dumb agent, right? It's just powering, its reasoning is coming from the system prompt or the instructions. And that's the way it's going to go. So that's what we're going to do.
It'll be a pretty simple agent, actually.
Yeah. And so now we can and then we can spoof talking to it as if we had the context, right? And then we can go try it out on some GitHub issues that we already have and see if it would have assigned it properly. But we also need to do the assignment part too. So that's interesting. We'll get there. Pretty fun.
Yeah. This part is interesting. Like, how do you label the hand? I mean, we can have a set of labels that we assign to teams and say, hey,
So let's write a cool. So you are a triage assistant.
Your goal is to
that helps the Mastras open source framework assign newly created issues to the owners of that area. I don't know. We'll see. But so now we could talk about what are the areas of ownership.
Memory.
Let's play around with that. So we have like memory. So okay, let's also like give it like some context. Like, what is all this bullshit, dude? Mastras is an open source framework for building AI agents. Sure, we'll use that. It has different primitives for building agents. Let's stop there. Below are the areas of ownership and the Mastra teammates that should be assigned or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So then let's just do. I love how it's like gonna autocomplete. I'm down.
It knows shit.
It knows shit. It knows, but it's not correct actually. But,
Yeah.
but let's just do stuff that we can do off the top of our heads. So agents. If I were to say just if it's agents related, all things agents, that's gonna be. Let's put Ward Peters on it. But then we'll need his GitHub and his Discord. We're gonna have to do some mapping there, you know. But that's okay. Also, they spelled my name wrong. Tools. Let's just put this on Daniel.
Yeah, I was
Liu,
gonna say the same.
right? Workflows.
Tony?
Tony Covenant.
Yeah.
Memory. Tyler
Tyler.
Barnes.
That one.
MCP.
Daniel again?
I guess we'll put Daniel on it because MCP and
Pretty
tools.
close to tools, yeah.
Yeah. Storage. Nick
Yeah.
Iyer.
And Rag also.
Rag. Nick Iyer. Then we got, let's see.
I mean, let's say if we're talking about voice, can be Ryan. I don't know
Voice.
if it can be that deep or
Yeah, we totally can. Then we also have like telemetry.
telemetry stuff.
Ujon.
Yeah. This guy is awesome. This is a super nice guy. I mean, everybody's super nice, but
Ujon's the man.
yeah.
You'll meet him again. I think they met him once on the live stream.
Yeah.
All 249 of you, welcome. You're watching us bumble, stumble, and fumble through building. I'm just kidding. We're doing pretty fine right now. Logging, also Ujon.
Yeah.
Anything like observability. Then we got Playground, who is you.
Yeah. Or Taufik, depends on, I mean, him and me works for both of us.
And we can say documentation.
Yeah.
Let's put Paul on there.
We have docs and website. I mean, docs, like, yeah, documentation for Paul.
See the website, Kenny.
Stuff, yeah. What else do we have?
I need to find Kenny's last name. I'm kind of embarrassed. How do I not know?
It's,
Can you look it up for me?
yeah.
Kenny, I apologize. Also, your name's Akinde. Okay, so
You're fooling us every time. Adeleke,
Oh,
I would say.
Adeleke. So I should put his full name. Kehinde. Adeleke. Okay.
Yeah. Then
Let's see. Okay, so let's see. So this is a very simple agent, actually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
now, but do we want it to assign the, or do we want it just to tell who it should be and then we assign it from there?
yeah.
Once again, we have the control to do the tool call ourselves. We don't need to pay tokens for it.
Yeah. I'm wondering if we shouldn't just put label with like an assigned team to those labels. Let's say you have, I don't know, Daniel is working on MCPs. I know that Tyler has been working a bit. We know that they own the label MCP or whatever, but then we are not able to assign to people. We are just able to
Put
label
the
thing.
yeah.
So it depends on how far we want to go.
Well, let's think what we want to do. So, like, what are the capabilities, or like, what are the types of things we want to do? We want to take an input message that has the title and summary, or the description. Then we want to assign it to a teammate.
Yeah.
Then we may want to reply on the issue, saying thanks for opening this issue. CC assigned teammates.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one.
Right.
And auto labeling them also, because we can't auto label now.
And then label them appropriately.
We already have the categories, so we can.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And I don't know if we will go from that far.
Yeah.
Okay. So one other thing I need to do, I need to stop sharing my screen so I can put an OpenAI key in here, so y'all don't jock my stuff. Stop screen sharing for a sec. And, oh snap! There it is.
Oh, wait.
Okay. 253 of you. Welcome to AI Agents Hour. Marvin, you want to do a recap for them?
Oh my boy. So today we've been through a lot of things. We've been through AI news where we've spoken about a lot of things, a lot of acronyms. We've been talking about why Claude 4 is not as good as Claude 3.7 in some situations by reading an article, a blog post from Reptile. And we also had a lot of fun with Markus from CopilotKit. We've seen some horses. If you've
goats.
not seen them, and goats also. And so this is where we are. And right now we are trying to build an agent that will help us triage our open source issues by automatically assigning them to the person that owns the area of the code, so that if we can automate something, we should probably automate this. So this is what we're trying to do live right now. So yeah, there we go.
Good job, dude.
Yeah,
that was great.
thanks.
Shane would be proud, honestly.
Oh, wow.
Shane would be proud. Oops. Here we are. So this is Mastras new. We don't need this weather workflow. I know we installed it on purpose, but it's fine. Last Wednesday, we did this, our first really big breaking change. A little context behind it, if anyone is curious. Even if you're not, I guess you have to listen to it. So we originally, Mastras, I think a lot of the reason we became very popular is we have there's a bunch of messages we're gonna get to you in a second. We had all these different pieces of the puzzle, like storage, vector stores, loggers, agents, workflows, etc. And we did defaults, which were good when you start. Like we had libsql, like SQLite as a default, but then we weren't explicit about it. As you can see right here on line 9, we were explicitly saying that, hey, we bootstrapped this project with the libsql store. Mastras supports a lot of different storage providers and vector stores. So we should not have enforced something on y'all. So now you can use those stores. Also, people were running into problems deploying to Cloudflare or Vercel because they weren't aware that the defaults were there. It's kind of like too magic, Now it's very transparent on what's going on. So that was a huge breaking release for us, especially with our loggers, right? Like Pinot. I'm not going to say anything bad about Pinot. It's fine, but it doesn't support in certain environments. So what do you do? Or it's just large and in charge. We wanted to make our bundle size very low because if you're going to go into a serverless environment, you have to be mindful of that. So that happened last week. 0.10 release was this breaking change release. It also introduced workflows as workflows. Sorry, vNext workflows is what we had. Now they're just workflows. So our latest workflow engine that we're very proud of is available. And Marvin's actually working on some really cool visualization features on that. So
with Taufik, we're doing some good news here. I hope you will enjoy the new experience.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's run through some of these messages. All right, Ward, thanks for this. I don't know what that means right now, but thank you. So I have tested Mastras and it's very powerful. I made some tests in comparison with LangGraph. It looks like it uses 3 more tokens than the same implementation. I know this thing because you asked about our agent network, which you're comparing to LangGraph Supervisor. We are literally about to release a laboratory. So once again, I'll explain to everybody. In Mastras Discord, there's a channel called the Laboratory. I don't know if anyone's seen Dexter's Laboratory. That's where it's kind of come from, that cartoon where anything that we're improving and rewriting and experimenting on goes in the laboratory. We'll have a version that you can start playing with it on day 0. and give us feedback and all that. So we did notice that token usage was a lot more, but that is actually the nature of how the agent network was written before. It was written with haphazardly running tool calls. It will generate more. It has a way bigger context window, or it has junk in the context window. It's just not good, which is why we never said anything about it, nor we always said it was experimental. Many people use it though. They're okay with it, and that's fine. But now Tony and Taufik are on it. They're working on it like as if this is going to be the next big thing for us. So thank you for the question, Michael. And I remember the Discord thing. So we are in Discord. That's some proof. And we will be releasing some information tomorrow. So check in on that.
We literally left the meeting like half an hour before this stream, and we were discussing about the agent stuff.
It's a very timely question.
Yeah.
Next question, we have Jeet. I have a question. How can we manage user-based thread store of thread and messages? Tough question because I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
I
don't get this one, to be honest.
So Mastras has memory, which is essentially the abstraction over a thread and messages within the thread. You can use the memory methods on the memory class to get threads and update them and create threads, etc. What memory is just a wrapper around the Mastras storage and Mastras vector. So if you're picking, let's say, for example, Postgres, right? Like your messages will be in there. You don't necessarily have to use our methods to get it because you can just hook up into pSQL and do select star if you wanted to. Like Mastras is very transparent. We're not trying to like hide anything. I guess we were before, but now we're trying to be very explicit about everything. So the memory class is probably where you want to go. I hope that answers your question. But if not, go to Discord. So, and then Ward said, ACT is a testing framework for actions. And thank you. That's what we were asking.
Man.
How do you test GitHub workflows locally?
You know what? When you have a question,
pretty much you ask Ward, and he just like, honestly, Ward's just listening to us while he's hanging out with his goats, and he's probably like just yelling like, "It's fucking ACT framework, guys!" Like, God, why did I leave the stream?
This is the guy. I don't know. I mean, he has so many knowledge. It's just too crazy.
Ward is the man.
Yeah, he's the man.
Thanks for the question, Jeet, and thank you again, Michael, for your question, and thanks, Ward, for the solution. Thank you. 264 of you now. Let's continue back in the code. We have about 20 minutes. Unfortunately, I will have to continue. I will have to continue on this without the live stream because we actually need this. So we're kind of running behind on where I wanted to be. So we got to code more. Yeah. But thank you for the 264 that are here. And maybe we'll do a recap in a bit, but not right now. We're like really behind. Okay, so
let's cross this. Let's go.
Now, where is...
So we have an agent. We have some instructions. We can talk to the agent and giving him some... I need...
That's not it. 1 second. Let me open up the playground and show it.
This is what I'm going to. That's just trying to pass a raw string of an issue.
Yeah, it's just because I have too many windows open right now. God damn it. Let me just stop sharing real quick and get situated here. So I need to start the playground. I also need this. There we go. Let's just pull this out.
Yeah, I think this kind of project would benefit to many teams that that are small teams but that have quite a big audience and that have to manage issues. I'm wondering if, for example, if the CopilotKit team would be interested in this kind of tool.
Probably.
Just to have them.
I think everyone's going to need a tool like this, right? Yeah. But then, the problem with for us, we're like a small knit team and the lines are very like crossed or like they're very defined. But it'll probably I guess we could throw in some curveballs later on like tough assignments.
Yeah.
But if you can see here, let me zoom this in a little bit. I'll close this, get more space. This is Mastra Dev Playground. So if y'all are new to Mastra, 274 people in here. Thanks for being here. But we're gonna test our triage agent. As you can see, we wrote this kind of system prompt,
yeah.
and that's all good. And yeah. Well, that's because I'm zoomed in. Like,
even though we should, I mean, this is only we should
Yeah.
just a bit. So I'm just taking it on the side.
Marvin's in charge. The funny thing is, maybe we should make an issue and see if it'll assign it to you.
I mean, let's try this. I mean, we'll try.
Let's try it.
I'm going to create the issue and we'll,
I'll test another issue in the meantime. So if I go to Mastra's, if I go to issues here, this one, let's see. So if I take this title, maybe this is how we kind of like do that, and then description. Maybe this is how we do that. I'm really curious what this is going to do.
I will put it very raw, like no labels, nothing, just content and a title, so that we can see.
So if y'all can see me here, oh man, I gotta do this like sharing thing. So you can see this. I just put the whole issue and I put the title, and so we're just gonna let it roll. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm excited to find out. So let's see. It said workflows, but that's because this dude in the issue said workflows. But if I were to look at as a human, like that is not necessarily a workflow. It's like runtime context, right? And runtime context is actually not represented in our list, right? So let's go fix that.
I think it's Darrow for runtime or War.
Let's put Darrow on it just for the sake of this. We can change this ownership table later, but let's say runtime context. And we also forgot Mastras server. So in Darrow Israel. And we have Mastras server. Let's also just put Ward on that. Ward, we're assigning stuff to you if you're watching. Mastras server. Okay, so now if I save this, the playground reload. Yeah.
Just like.
And so as you can see, and then let's just do this again. And the title. Ward's like, no, don't assign it to me.
More work.
And this. And let's see. It's still going to pick workflows, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
But it says runtime context now, so
That's
it's going to
cool.
do Darrow. Great. Let's do another example. This one, sure. Oh, yeah, this one. UI is broken from Marvin. And then we do.
Just very small description, just to see if you can infer this.
It'll get it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So description. Marvin.
Yeah.
Right. Dude, like this is not complex, right? What we did is not complex, right? But it's kind of like the type of AI tools you can build that actually help. Like, it's kind of dumb. I mean, I guess we could have made some if checks, like if this text has this, but that's all BS. We were actually using a very small model. It's quite cheap to do reasoning on the issue and then assign it, right? So that's cool. Now. There's a bunch of issues that we gotta let go and assign now. Ooh, this one, docs one.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna put this docs in there. It would be too
too explicit.
Too explicit. So let's see. Title. And then loving Mastra. Thank you for loving Mastra. Brino 12321. And here's a description. Should do Paul.
Nah, that's fast.
Yeah. So okay, for easy ones, it seems pretty good. AGUI. right? Like we don't have anything for this in our thing, but it is me, so I got to put that in
We
there.
should have also a fallback, like in case nothing matches, just
Yeah.
reassign to.
Yeah. Great
Just
point. In case there is no proper owner or area of ownership, assign it to Ward Peters.
Let's do
What do you
that.
think about that, Ward? Okay. And also, people, 282 of you, welcome. We're making a joke about Ward. That's because he's watching us right now. So here's him saying no. And he was just on, actually. So it's pretty funny. But I think now, Marvin, let's do a recap for people as I keep cutting.
Yeah, so today we've been through a bunch of things. So we started with AI news. We have been through some articles about new acronyms that are out in the wild, like ACP, another tool called BAI, sorry. And so we've checked those out. We've also read an article by Reptile, which is an AI that automates pull request reviewing, and they were explaining how Claude 4.0 is less powerful than Claude 3.7 for them in their own use case. Then we've met with Markus from CopilotKit, which is a great UI library that works out of the box with Mastras for building UI around agents. And then we've also talked to Paul from the Mastras about documentation stuff. And then we've seen some horses from the world. And now we are trying to build an application that will help us manage our issues on the open source repository. So the idea is that every time somebody creates an issue, it will automatically assign the right people to the issue so that they can fix it. So basically, it's based on areas of ownership. And so we are trying to build an agent around that. And what Abhi is doing right now, he's experimenting with the agent. So almost doing evals, but as a human.
Yeah, just testing it. We could do, and we will probably have to write evals for this thing. And that's probably good for, that's just good for in general. Like, and we'll do that on live stream or something. Right now, I just want to make something work.
Yeah.
Make it work, make it right, make it fast.
Yeah.
That's our motto around here, which I guess is everybody's motto, honestly. I don't know. Peter Drucker, is that the guy who made that? Chad, if you know, let us know. Paul, okay, that's good. Now we have to say something that doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
So, guardrails. Just say guardrails.
Oh, yeah.
Guardrails feature. Description. I want guardrails feature. I want guardrails. Oh? Actually, that's not bad because Ward is working on guardrails, right? And that's cool because it is a sub-feature of agents. Yeah. Honestly, he is working on it. So we should be a little bit more, like guardrail / input output processing. Mm-hmm. But this is not necessarily just always Ward, right? So, but let's just for now.
It can be the entry point, and then dispatch one. We can figure this out at some point.
Okay, so we have some triaging mechanism. Now let's go on Discord and put some messages through the test as well.
Yeah. It will be even. Yeah, it's less structured because we still have a template here. So
yeah, it's less structured. Maybe we can use the same agent, right?
Can probably use the same one.
Let's go to Discord. My Discord will be popping, I'm sure. A lot of stuff to look at.
Yeah.
Let's use this one.
You will also have the context of the image and also. Actually, yeah. That would have been fun too.
Yeah, this dude needs to update his CLI. That's the issue, right? But and it would be cool. Maybe we can build this thing to answer questions too. Like I don't know. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This thing can become really sick too. Yeah. But let's see. Like the reason why. But then if y'all looking at this, the reason is like he's on 0.10. Like I said, everything got released at 0.10. Every module went to 0.10. So you got to upgrade to 0.10. But let's see what our triage would have done.
I don't think you're gonna have to structure it. Just
Just put it in here.
Yeah, just to see. Yeah.
There's no specific area for core updates.
Okay.
That's fine. It is my responsibility for all this shit.
Yeah, but it was by luck, right? It's
Yeah.
like because because
Cool.
core doesn't match anything, but maybe we can have something.
That's because he was just mentioning the
Yeah.
Mastras core library and stuff.
But I mean, there's not much context on this issue. If you check this one, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
when I try to pull stuff, it doesn't work. So
Yeah, maybe not the best token usage. This is
maybe the screenshot would have helped.
this is what Michael was. He asked this question.
Yeah.
Let's see if like
Usage.
because we don't even have agent network on here too. Let's go change that real quick.
Oh yeah.
Agent
yeah.
network. Tony.
Yeah.
So let's see if. Given it involves the agent network and potentially the agents that should be assigned to Tony, who oversees the agent network, and also to Ward Peters, who manages the agents, I will assign this issue to Tony and Ward. Yo, this thing's cooking, and we're not like honestly, it's not bad, like because that's like first line of defense, right?
Yeah.
This is not supposed to solve the problem. It's supposed to just facilitate someone reading it. Okay,
That's nice.
it's pretty sick. Let's look at another one.
That's pretty sick.
Failed to run Mastras after PNP and
It would be
run
cool to find something about memory, but there is fixing everything. So
cross-thread memory. Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's do this cross-thread. This one. This is gonna be cheating though, but it already has memory in it. But it's okay. Yeah. Just Tony.
Just Tony.
Therefore, it is assigned.
Okay. Issue with memory are obvious because it's mentioned in the
Yeah.
issue itself every time. So
Yeah.
Issue with storage or memory.
So what's something that's ambiguous?
Yeah. Like CopilotKit message, it will fall in my area, I think.
That's a good one. Let's try this one.
I think the one that would be complicated is one-liners with a screenshot.
Yeah. Well, we could do screenshots as well. Not yet in the playground. We're working on that, but via the API, like we could.
Yeah.
CopilotKit, tools, events. That's incorrect.
Yeah, I mean,
Trying to assign it to Daniel,
Yeah.
but it needs to assign it to me. So Copilot.
yeah.
So if we did that same. Yep. So it's good.
That's so cool, man. The reading of this stuff is so nice.
While I'm here, I'm going to CC Markus because we also made a channel for CopilotKit.
Yeah.
Right here.
I'm very curious about this one. I will try this out. I didn't take the chance to. I will definitely.
Sorry, now I'm just stuck reading stuff. Okay, so we have these. Okay, so first off, I got to post Ward's little comment here. These AI agents are here to get me. They're here to assign you work, my friend. Let's do a little recap on like the project so far. We have now an agent that can assign based on a title and description, or essentially just a body of text. It can assign who we want to look at the issue, right? So then our next steps would be for GitHub, we'll go and put this script in place, and then we'll do assignment, and as well as actual GitHub assignment. We don't necessarily have time for that. We have 6 minutes, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't know what you plan after that, but maybe we can show the tools for agents, because I assume this is how you would do it, or you would do a workflow.
Actually,
we could do a tool eventually, or a workflow.
We could do a workflow that actually runs. I want to do a workflow actually.
Not having a real one, but just showing console log that something is going
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
fetch the-
So we're gonna have this agent, no problem. And so now we kind of have these working for us, right? But the next thing is like we have like a multi-step workflow that we can run, which is given the issue number or given the like maybe it's just given the text, right? Given the text.
Yeah.
Well, technically, there's different modes, right? One is GitHub, and then one is like. So we have to maybe this first we'll just do GitHub, right? And so in that case, actually, so okay,
Yeah.
this is here, that's chill. But if we go into I don't want I need to unshare my screen for a sec because my API keys. There needs to be some plugin when you live stream that just masks like keys.
For checking those directly. This is I remember somebody on live stream, it was a few years ago. He was using Chrome extension just to hide the keys, just so that it does not mess up when he changes tabs. Because sometimes you're just here coding and
you'll
just
see
Command P, you type something and boom, you are your product on the inside.
I've definitely leaked some keys. I'm thinking,
for sure.
Okay.
I did last time during the demo.
Oh yeah, you did. You did.
I was like, okay, I need to rotate this one now.
That's true. So in this case, right, like if we're in this script, right, I'm going to import Mastras client.
You don't stream anymore.
Oh yeah, duh, my bad. Screen one. Cool. So I can import Mastras client here, and then we can just talk to Mastras client JS. And
you have to install it, I guess.
Yeah, that's annoying.
I mean, if we don't have time, we don't have time. It's just
yeah, or we can just grab it from where it is. One, two, client SDKs.
Starting to get hungry.
Yeah, good thing we're almost done. It's lunchtime.
Yeah.
Client JS.
Yeah. While you are doing this, I just want to highlight this package is so awesome. Like I'm using it in the workflow. Sorry, man.
That's okay.
I'm starving.
It's lunchtime.
Yeah. So yeah, this package, Mastras Client.js, is so awesome. We use it in the playground, we use it in cloud. It's so convenient to just retrieve information from the inner system.
So like we're going to deploy our agent as HTTP server. Right now, the playground's running the Mastras server on 4.1.1.1. So if we could set up this client here, and we can get our agent, which is the triage agent. I think it's called triage agent or triage. What do we name it? Triage agent.
Yeah.
So we can get the triage agent, and then we can do essentially this context buildup, right?
Yeah.
This is where we need to fetch the title and body of the issue. Then we're going to pass it to generate here, and it'll give us some text. We can do this with a output, which will be structured output for this. I believe we have to use JSON schema here.
Yeah.
Because we're on the client API. So this would be some JSON schema. And then maybe I don't want to do that right now, but I forget how to do. Okay, maybe this will do it for me. So it's like type object.
Oh yeah, in this one you cannot use those schemas, right? It's just JSON schema.
Yeah, because it's going over HTTP.
Okay.
Unless you like serialize we could serialize Zod schemas. We haven't done that yet.
Properties title.
Let's not even do required. And let's say we want the assignee and the reason.
That's a good one. Reason can be interesting to know if you want to track stuff and understand a bit more.
Then we'll have our thing, and then after we have that, we need to then do. We have to label. We can label the issue based on the primitive. So maybe you also need like labels potentially.
Or the area depends on.
Oh yeah, or area of.
We can have a matching between.
Maybe product area.
Yeah.
Which is just type string.
Yeah.
And there you go. That's dope. And then we would use these to assign labels as well as assign the person to
We
it.
have the assignee. Assigning.
Yeah.
What if we had multiple, like we had before? He mentioned you and Word, so I don't think he can. I mean, we have the output schema that is defined, so it should bring back only one person.
Maybe like in our system prompt, we say like, no, there's only one assignee per thing. Don't mix and match and stuff. But now this has become a traditional software engineering problem, right? Like I have to go call an API myself, and then I have to do another API call, and then I'm pretty much done with this piece, right? The next thing is how do I? This one's easy, right? Or easier because the interface to get into it is this GitHub workflow, this issue triage YAML, right? Where we're just going to call a script, which is tight, right? The input data is coming from GitHub, and we're good. Discord, on the other hand, we need to listen to that. So,
to different rooms, maybe. I don't know.
Different channels in there. And we have like a Discord bot. We have some prior art code that we can steal for that. But alas, we will have to stop it here because we are done with the show for today.
But to be honest, we're not so far from the end. I mean, for the audience, it's like literally calling the AutoKit SDK and passing some data in. It will just work like in half an hour, 1 hour or something. But
And what's cool is like we're gonna, and you'll see like there'll be a different type of attention to issues now once we release this, right? We'll be more organized now. So do
you think we should put this code in the laboratory for people that follow the stream, just so that they know that we've finished this one instead of
once
the code, just so that
I can I'll just post it on Twitter when we're done, and then maybe we can make it a little bit more generic too.
That's a good one. I mean, I'm excited about how it will work later.
I'm more excited about the Discord one too. So that's like our next step. So as I said earlier, like I have to actually finish this today, so it's not going to be on the live stream. But it was a good opportunity to start it here and stuff and show the audience everything. We are going to end the stream now. We'll just do one last recap of everything. There's 326 people here. Thank you for coming. That's wild. That's a wild number of people. But just to kind of recap, we are the AI Agents Hour EU edition. I'm visiting Strasbourg in France, visiting Marvin here. We talked about AI news. First thing we talked about was Greptile's blog on if Claude v4 Sonnet 4 is better than 3.7 at fixing and finding bugs. The answer is no. You should go read it. And then from there, we talked about MCP, ACP, A to A, BAI, IBM, 3-letter acronyms. And they gave us IBS. So that happened. Then we invited Markus from CopilotKit, who went through what AGUI is, what CopilotKit is, his origin story, which was really nice. And then he gave us a demo of the CopilotKit Dojo, which we've seen before, but for entertainment purposes, we were very genuinely freshly excited. And then we started building. Then we invited Paul. He showed us what's coming new in the documentation, how we want everyone to know that you can build Mastras with X, and then maybe even for we talked about models a bit. Like we support all these models, so we need to have the documentation for it. Then Ward blessed us with his animals. He has a horse and 3 goats. And we're just talking about the release and our release process, which is today. We have to go back and do that. And then finally, we started building this automations where we need to assign issues in GitHub as well as in Discord to us as the engineers. And it needs to happen automatically. And we're almost there. So thanks, everyone, for being here. This was really fun. Peace.